think you're good right there. You can't hear me? Mindfulness and why it matters, why it's good for our souls. So welcome and welcome. I'm so excited to learn from you.
Thank you, Sandy. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Lori Reho, and I'm a licensed pastoral counselor with the National Christian Counseling Association. I'm the founder of a nonprofit called Garden of Grace Counseling that's specific for women who are in need of spiritual healing or emotional healing from trauma specifically. I also, by day, am a surgical practice administrator. That's my full-time day job. And I'm a clergy spouse, which is a job in itself. So I'm a mother of 2 and grandmother of 4. And I think that's about all I can really say about me. These are 2 of my favorite topics. I'm a person in recovery for 13 years almost now. And so I've done a lot of inner work in the past over decade now on mindfulness and meditation. So I'm also a mindfulness and meditation teacher. So I was quite delighted when Reverend Sandy had let me know that there was a number of parishioners here in your congregation who had answered a survey that indicated they had interest in mindfulness. We see that we have a small crowd, and that's okay because it's true for most of Americans. Ideally, mindfulness is something that we all want to practice and want to do. Most of us don't do it. I was just reading an article yesterday, and I was quite shocked and disheartened to read that only 17% of Americans report being actively mindful in anything that we do. That's high. Yeah, the 75% of Americans report living their life more distracted than focused. So we're going to look tonight at mindfulness and meditation, how we can use this in our everyday lives, why it's important. I think what God truly wants for us and how he wants us to live is a very mindful, centered life, focused on birthing Christ into the world, for others. There are several ways you can look at mindfulness, but we're just going to take a look at a few of my favorites. I think this is the easiest description right here of mindfulness, is simply keeping your head where your feet are. Mindfulness is not doing anything faster than your breath. Mindfulness is being attentive to the moment at hand, to who you're with. We can practice mindfulness in eating. We can practice mindfulness in our work. We can practice it in our prayer. We can apply mindfulness to anything that we do. But mindfulness is not living in the past or sitting in the regrets of the past, and it's not sitting in fear of the future. God isn't in either of those 2 places at the present moment. God is only found in each moment, in each breath, in this moment, and this moment, and this moment. So to keep our connection steadfast and true and to be in God's presence is to be mindful and be in the moment that we're in. It's great, obviously, for spiritual health, and it's great for mental health. What we're going to look at tonight is the physiological ramifications of the lifestyle that we live and how mindfulness can keep us well and help us to actually live longer. And I just wanted to touch upon meditation, and what meditation actually is. It's just a simple, it's truly using techniques to expand our conscious awareness and our focus. And that can be done. There's many, many techniques for meditation. We'll do some tonight together. But first I want to talk about who we are and how we're created. This is how God created us to be. We have a system, and I had to redo a couple of these slides, and this particular version I have doesn't have it on here, but we have a part of our makeup as human beings is a autonomic system, which means that things happen within our body without our warranting anything from us at all. They're just automatic responses. We're created that way for survival, to keep us alive. There's nothing we have to think about. There's nothing that we have to do. A good example of that is just breathing. And something that our brain knows to do is to take a breath. It's digestion. We don't have to think about that. There's nothing mindful or intentional that we have to do for that. When we get into a situation where we feel frightened or threatened, our automatic response is going to be to fight, right? Or freeze or run. And it's not something we have to think about. Something that I had learned about this particular part of our nervous system, which was astounding to me, and it explains a lot about how I get my own self in trouble, is when we feel threatened, whether it's our physical body, our emotional well-being, our self-esteem, our finances, our fight or flight gets triggered. And in the moment that it's triggered, our decision-making part of our brain is shut off. We're not even able in that. We're not even meant to be making decisions in that point in time. We're going to defend ourselves, whether it's through our words, whether it's through our actions, whether we need to truly run if it's an actual threat on our life. But we're meant to flow between the two of these. It's how we're designed, is that when we need to fight or flee or defend, we can kick into that mode, but we're meant to really return to the rest and digest and restore state. And that's how our cells repair, we regain our oxygen. There's many things that happen to us physiologically in these two different states. One of them is called the parasympathetic state, and that's your rest, digest, and restore. The other one is sympathetic, which is your fight or flight response. So I wanted to take a moment to just look at the two of them. This is so critical. There's so much science behind this and too much information to even convey or cover here. But this is our state of being when we are sitting in a rest and digest response. This is the way that we're supposed to live every day. Every moment, this is where we're supposed to be, unless our life is in danger. Now, most of us act like it's in danger when it's not. It can be a fight with the spouse. It can be the kid that's not listening. It can be the boss. We get triggered and we feel unsafe, and something feels threatened, and we get afraid. It could be, like I said, our job. It could be simply our self-esteem, our reputation, our careers. But when we're in this state, our immune system is actually being boosted. Our digestion is in a good state. We have an enhanced ability to relate and connect with others. Our pupils are constricted. We have slow, deep breathing, and our muscles are relaxed, and our heart rate is slowed down, and our cells are repairing. Do you guys ever notice, or have you encountered, if you get really upset in your head, your stomach starts to get upset? So this is truly all connected. They call the belly our second brain, actually, and it also has hormones. I learned that recently. It has serotonin, it has dopamine. It just has different jobs to do in our gut versus our brains. This is what happens when we get activated, upset. This happens when we have highly charged negative emotions, and it can truly just be somebody upsetting you. And this is the response that our body takes on. The noticeable effects is our pupils, the mouth goes dry, the neck and shoulder muscles tense. Obviously, our heart rate increases. We can experience chest pains or palpitations. We can sweat, our muscles tense and get ready for action, get ready to run. The breathing gets fast and shallow. The oxygen is needed for your muscles. But there are many hidden effects as well that aren't even noticeable to us when we get into this state. So this was interesting to me. The liver releases glucose to provide energy for the muscles. Adrenaline gets released as well. Your blood pressure goes up. Digestion slows. That's another thing. When you're fighting to save your life, or so you think you're fighting to save your life, you're really not most of the time. But our digestion just stops. Literally, our whole system shuts down so that we can survive and do what we have to do. But we live in this state most often just anxious and overwhelmed. And our body never has time to actually restore and rejuvenate. It's a stress battle that we go through. This is how I want to just give you an example. I think the perfect example is a dog as to how we're really meant to live. When this is not my dog, it looks like her, but when she sees another dog walking down the street, or the UPS guy or anybody, woo, she's right up at the window, right? Barking, 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 barking. I can calm her down, holler at her, whoo, whistle. She will not stop barking. But the moment that they're out of sight, she goes right back to resting. We don't do that. You know, an animal memory span is 27 seconds. So another example I like to use is a rabbit that's out foraging for food, and if a wolf comes up, that rabbit's going to run. Everything else is going to shut down. The hunger is going to shut down. Blood's going to go to the muscles. The rabbit's going to run. The rabbit's going to find a hole. And as soon as that wolf passes by or the fox passes by, he's going to go right back to eating again. Forget it ever happened. We have a part of our brain that consolidates memories from the day. And when we rest at night, our brain consolidates and it picks out what we might need for the future, for survival, and what we can throw away. If our brain didn't do this, we'd go crazy. And our brain stores the things throughout the day that have happened with highly charged emotions. Those get stored in what I call high-resolution files, in case we might need them again. So with this information stored in our brain, any time in the future we have an event that's even remotely similar, and it spikes that same emotion, our brain recalls that response, and we go right back to that response. And we're acting like our life is actually in danger when it's probably not, right? But we all have an ego, too, that's built into us at a very young age, and that ego is meant for us to learn what a healthy no means, but that gets on overdrive, and our ego can grow quite a lot bigger than what is necessary. And what happens is we stay in defensive mode or fight or flight. But one of the ways that we can get ourselves back into that state, that's what I want to talk about tonight and do with you all, is really show you how to activate the parasympathetic part of your nervous system so that your body can remain present and aware to what God has for us in this lifetime. I don't know about you all either, but I believe it's true for most. I can be baking a cake and planning my future all at the same time. I'm not always where my feet are, and I cannot remember doing certain tasks, and the day is just gone. And I was just thinking about it on the way here tonight. I was like, it's kind of like blackout drinking. People drink, right? They black out. They don't remember what happened. Where did the time go? Where's my card? Who are you? And when we live in a state where we're not in the present moment, we do, have you ever driven somewhere and not remember getting there because you were thinking about other things? We're just not present, to what it is we're doing. And that means God never leaves us. I think we all know that. But I think the space between us expands when we're constantly living in the future or dwelling over the past. And I heard once this really cute analogy that if you got 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future, you are peeing all over the day. That's not where we want to be. So calling ourselves back to the present moment and returning back to God, back to inhabiting and embodying our own experience in life is critical to maintain a proper level of stress. When we stay in this fight or flight mode, the impact of the stress on the body, I guess just simply say that it slowly kills us. I had some lists that I chose not to include in this presentation, but just to name a few, when we are under a constant state of stress, our body inflames, which leads to cancer. We lose brain cells. Our brain actually shrinks and can lead to memory issues. And the list goes on and on about the impacts of stress in the body. It never has a chance to restore. So we're going to learn tonight how to bring ourselves back when we get into that moment where you start to feel your heart rate pick up or your blood pressure go up. Can most of you identify when you're about to enter into it? It's like when you're in traffic and it's not going the way that you need it to go, or your kids aren't taking your suggestions, or the spouse is under your skin again. Can you tell in your bodies when you're getting upset? Is it obvious to you? All of you, I feel it. Sometimes our faces even turn red. So we're going to practice a couple of different types of breathing that's going to bring us back into a homeostatic state so that our body can repair. Everything that we do tonight, I have in a packet for you, so please just be present with me in the practices rather than trying to remember what it is that you're hearing. Just be present to the experience, and then all of this will be on paper for you. Is that okay? You guys want to do some? Yeah. So the first one is super, super easy, and some of you may know this. I still think it's very healthy to be reminded, and it's called diaphragmatic breathing. And it's where you, it's an intentional breath. So are you aware of this? Okay, so we all know how to do it. Okay, well, that's good. We're going to do a few together right now. If we can, I'm not going to use any music for our breathing exercises, but we'll just do a few breaths together. So if everyone could just close your eyes and straighten your spine, just elongate your spine. And let your eyes relax. And just take note of your breath. Is it deep and slow? Or is it short and shallow? You don't need to change anything. Just become aware of what the state of your body is in the current moment. And we're going to take 5 deep breaths in through our nose. We'll exhale through our mouths. And we're going to bring the breath past the chest cavity and all the way into the belly, where you can feel your belly actually expand and your ribs expand. And as you exhale, pull your belly button in towards your spine. And we'll take 5 beginning now. Inhale. And exhale, pulling your belly button towards your spine. Again, inhale all the way down into the belly until you feel your belly enlarge. And exhale, pulling your belly button towards your spine. Again, inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And one last breath. Deep breath in all the way down into the belly. Feel it expand and release. Thank you. Thank you for participating. It feels good, doesn't it? Does anyone have any questions about the previous slides, about the physiological system, about what happens to the body, about how to get yourself back? Do you notice that you get stuck in one mode all day long and everything is aggravating? There's just no time for rest and restore. Reverend Sandy and I were just chatting about that with our spouses and how we cross paths sometimes and we're always just on the go until the end of the evening when you finally just plop in for the night. And that's as good as it gets. So my husband and I are trying to be very intentional about 20-minute centering prayer sits twice a day. So we're going to give that a try. But these are just very quick things that you can do. I've been known to find myself in the bathroom at work upset doing push-ups on the sink just to get the energy out. But sometimes I just forget to breathe. That's all I really need to do is just stop and breathe. All right, so no questions about how these two systems work? You feel comfortable with all of that? Okay. The next one that we're going to do, this is the diaphragmatic breathing that we just did. We're going to do the box breathing. I wanted to show you how to do this. It seems you're aware of this one as well. Box breathing can be used just to calm, bring the heart rate down, recenter the mind. And the way that it works, I like to use it Father James, my husband, has a real beautiful Advent box breathing meditation. I can share it with you guys if you want to. He had offered for me to use it tonight, and I thought, well, I don't want them to have to remember Aramaic language, so maybe just remember the number 4 is enough. But his, you can try it if you want to. It's Maranatha. Am I right? Do you know it, Sandy? Maranatha, I think it is come Lord Jesus. And it's a prayer that he likes to use for Advent. So you can do it any way you want, but it's, say it again. Maranatha. See? Okay, so if you choose to use that, it's a really great practice for Advent. You can use that. But the idea is to elongate your spine and breathe in and out. These are both done through your nose, your nostrils, but you breathe in for the count of 4, and you hold it for the count of 4. And then you breathe out for the count of 4, and hold your breath out for the count of 4. This is going to activate your parasympathetic system for you. So we'll try that together a few times. Everybody ready? Okay. All right, we'll take the first, elongate your spine. Let's start there. And let your shoulders drop. Check your jaw. Make sure that your jaw is relaxed and your tongue is dropped from the roof of your mouth. And your eyebrows are soft. And let's take our first breath into the count of 4 through the nostrils. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, release. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we'll do this 3 more times, but I'm going to be quiet so you can be in your own space and use your own mantra if you want to apply a mantra to this. So we'll start with the second. And enter into your final repetition. And when you're ready, you can rejoin. And this next one is my favorite because I can find myself stuck in anxiety. Sometimes it's even when I lay my head down at night and the brain's just, when the rest of the world stops and the brain turns on, I don't know, you finally have time with yourself and you're like, I don't know, what happened today? And my heart can start to race, just laying there trying to go to sleep. So this technique, I was looking it up today, the Butikeo, is that how you say it? Are you familiar with this one? You've known most of these breathing exercises so far. Do you know this one? Okay. This was developed in the 1950s by a doctor by the last name of how do you say this? Buteyko, maybe. Yeah. He discovered this technique to calm. This is for people with asthma too. People with asthma will use this to get their breath back, and I've tried it, and it actually works. So if you're entering into an anxious state and your heart rate is beginning to beat and you can't get it to calm down, this is the technique here that you want to use. So you focus on your breathing in and out of your nose just for a few minutes, and then after an exhale, you hold your breath. Now, they say you should plug your nose. I don't know why it's necessary. I don't plug my nose. I do like to do nostril breathing. With that, you can plug your nose. So if you choose to plug your nose, I recommend taking your middle finger and just placing it there between the brow when you plug your nose. It activates another center in the brain. But after your exhale, hold your breath until you feel like you can't hold it anymore. And it creates a sensation of air hunger. And when you feel the need to take a breath, rather than opening your mouth and gasping, the idea is to let go of your nose and very slowly inhale from the nose. And then take a few normal breaths and then repeat it. And that will actually bring anxiety down very, very quickly. Do you guys want to try it together? Why not? Nobody's anxious, are they? Should we get anxious? I'm sure there's tons we could talk about that would make all of us anxious right now. Just think of your spouse. I mean, exactly. All right, well, let's give it a try. Nobody pass out. Please don't hold your breath longer than you need to. But we'll take 3 normal breaths, and then on our exhale, we're going to just hold it. Get all the air out of your lungs and just hold it. And when you feel like you need to breathe, take a slow breath in through your nose, okay? All right, here we go. And on this next exhale, we want you to hold. Ready? And release when you need to breathe, and slowly breathe in through the nose. She's a long-distance swimmer. You had your nose plugged for a long time. Wow. We'll wait for you. You go right ahead. We're here for you. When you're ready. We'll all do it again together. Okay. Well, I can't look it up at the moment. That's his last name. And I know he created this in the 50s, this technique. I did a little bit of research on this one today. I had not heard of this. This is new to me. I did not learn this in class. Yeah, so it was pretty neat. There you go. Yeah, yeah. Another one that they use in yoga, it's yogic breathing, is the alternate nostril breath. Have you guys ever seen that? Okay. You guys know a lot of stuff. Why did you? Okay. You're supposed to be learning something. All right. I'll get you. Don't worry. Okay. All right. Will you demonstrate the alternate nostril breathing for us? Okay. It's the same technique, right? Yep. Inhale on one nostril, exhale in the other nostril. Yep. Nope. And then you can switch nostrils, breathe into the other. I wasn't planning on showing it. What's wrong? Are you okay? Are you okay back there? It is, and oxygen is so important for all of our organs. And I'm going to tell you, something that I catch very, very often with myself is I have short, shallow breathing. A lot. What did you guys notice when you went into that one breath exercise? Was it short and shallow, or I breathe very shallow. What was it like for you? Yeah. 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 Try this one. So if you see her at her desk doing that, just keep on walking. Yeah, just keep on walking. Now, if she does it at the altar on a Sunday, call 911. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. Just give me 5. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, slow. That's correct. Yep. Finish. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. The yogic breath starts in the belly and then it rises up through the chest and out through the arms. I believe that, I don't know what state this puts you in, but I think the ideal is 4 breaths a minute is all that you really ought to, like that. And I almost pass out trying to do that. But now if you're familiar with yoga and yogic breathing, I'm not the master in that. My husband is. But if you ever heard of the breath of the dragon? Ha, okay. He does it. I can't do it. I was going to have you demonstrate it for us, but that's for a whole another day because I can't do it. I will pass out if I will hyperventilate. But it does wake up your body. There's a lot of goodness in the breath. And you know, God breathed life into us, and everything is about the breath. And that truly is where God is found. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 I heard someone once say that God is the first word we ever utter, the very first word we utter when we're born, which is Yahweh. Right? And it's the last word that we utter at death. Isn't that beautiful? And it's all in the breath, and it's all about being present. And, you know, we really, I shouldn't say we, I'm going to speak for myself. I know that I have walked through a lot of my life asleep. And I think most of us don't realize how much we're sabotaging ourselves until some massive event happens that jolts us awake into some spiritual experience that we have to be awakened to. But it's very important to be mindful about being awake and be mindful in everything that we do. And I think it gives so much glory to God, right? In all of his creation, he created us above all and created us different. And I think about, you know, this Advent season when I meditate on just the coming of Christ, and I think, what would I want to give, you know, to the Christ child? And I think just my opinion, what his desire might be for every single one of us, the best gift that we could give him is to have a beautiful, serene, happy, centered, healthy life. We throw so much away just being in the busy, just being in the hurry, you know? So I hope that it makes a difference, and that at least for the Advent season that you can incorporate some mindful movements, mindful activities, just to retrain the brain. But there's something else I wanted to share with you before we get into some meditation practices is this vagal nerve. It's the hot new thing right now. Everybody heard about this? It's like it's a new discovery. Our bodies have been the same since the beginning of time, but they are really focusing in on some of these techniques about the vagus nerves. And I did want to share with you some techniques to kind of stimulate that nerve, which will automatically calm you as well. Who knows about the vagus nerve here? Of course. You've heard it, yeah. The vagus nerve is I think this is a cool fact. My husband's like, why does anybody need to know that? I just think it's a cool fact. So I'm going to tell you. That is the 10th of 12 cranial nerves that we have. I just thought that was a really cool, fun fact. But what is fun to know is that it is our longest cranial nerve that we have, and it does run all the way through your body. There's one on each side, and it runs down behind the carotid, down your neck. It joins at the thoracic, and then runs down through the digestive system. So this vagus nerve carries information between the head, the heart, and the stomach. And I just think that is so fascinating because I do a lot of trauma work, a lot of couples work, and finding out how to connect the head and the heart. Because usually it's the mind feeding the heart. We as Christians have to learn how to have the heart feed the mind and reverse that pattern. But interesting enough, and it's connected to the digestive system too. That's why it makes so much sense. When the heart rate starts to go up and the head starts to go crazy, the stomach starts to get upset. But everything shuts down, our whole system, and it's just so unhealthy to live that way. But I have, and it's in the packets for you guys to take home, this is vagus nerve massage. And I am going to play a little bit of music for this because it's just so fun to do these exercises. I've been doing it for 3 days at my desk, practicing. But we're just going to look at the ear, the neck, and the head and face tonight. And then there's also the stomach. I thought you could save that for home. And the feet. Maybe your spouse will do that with you. So are you guys okay with doing a vagal massage on yourselves? Okay. All right. Let me get us some nice tunes. I think I'm going to use this. Can you hear that okay? Okay. Actually, I'm going to put it to my speaker. All right. So we're going to start with the ear. I will have you close your eyes for this. And remember, you can do this anywhere. You can do any one of these. It's just mindfully bringing yourself back to center and getting back in touch with God and your body. So you start, let's close our eyes. Let's start with that. And let's do a deep breath all the way down to the bottom of the diaphragm. And let's try the yogic breath. And on your next breath, as you expand your belly, also bring that breath up and expand it into your lungs, and then all the way up through the shoulders, the clavicle area, and a deep breath out. And then reach up and gently rub your outer ear, starting from the top. Just move downwards. Use circular motions with your thumb and your forefinger. Massage your earlobes. Be gentle and maintain a slow, rhythmic pace to stimulate the nerve through the auricular branch. And then you can move to your face, and we're going to begin by just gently massaging your temples with your fingertips, using small circular motions. Just stay there for a few breaths. And on your next breath, move your fingers down to your jawline, massaging your jaw in a circular motion. And hold that massage for a few breaths. And on your next breath, Move your hands towards your eyes, and you're going to stroke your face from the center of your face outwards, focusing on the cheeks and the forehead, just light stroking the middle of the face all the way out. Pay special attention to the area around your eyes and your eyebrows. Just be with that for just a few breaths, being gentle with yourself. And now you can, on your next breath, move to the back of your neck and apply gentle pressure to the bottom of your skull. And just rub that there with your fingertips. And then gently move down to the side of your neck and move your fingers in a downward motion all the way from the base of your skull to your collarbone. And just repeat this for a few breaths. Be sure you maintain a gentle and soothing touch to activate the vagus nerve in the neck. All the way down to the collarbone. And in your next breath, you can take the palms of your hands in an upright position and just place them over your eyes. And just take a few breaths there. Take a moment to be with the Lord. Imagine in your mind's eye welcoming him into the world this Christmas season. And the gift that you hopefully will choose to give him is the gift of a happy, healthy mind and heart. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and rejoin me. I think that's my favorite. How did that feel? Yeah, it just takes a second. And you can pick any one of them. My husband and I were teasing around when we were doing these massages, because he goes, and it's true. I mean, a lot of people just grab their head, right? And you get mad. Just grab your head. But if you think about it, you're putting pressure on your temples. It's like your body knows what to do to activate the vagus nerve and just calm down. His favorite, whenever he gets upset, the first thing he does is go like this. Yep, back behind the skull. It's like the first response. I'm not sure I think my first response, I'm upset now, so realize I'm in fight or flight, so everything shuts down and I'm ready to make a move. But I believe my first instinctual reaction is breath. I will start the deep breathing to calm down. It's just my go-to. But I like this idea of these massages, and I'm going to try to incorporate that more into my life as well. So I'd like to just focus on, for the next, 20 minutes, this is going by quickly, I want to talk a little bit about Advent and how we can use some of these practices and prayers during this season to be very mindful. These are the words I think of when I think of Advent, is welcoming and becoming. And we're not just welcoming in the Christ child, but we're becoming the laborers or bearers of the Christ child in the world at the same time. And if we're to be welcoming and becoming the bearers of Christ, to me that means we need to make room for that. And to me that means self-emptying, setting myself aside so that I can have God fill me, right? So a favorite prayer that I'm going to share with you that helps us to get outside of ourselves so that we can make room for what's to come. And you may know this. It seems like I have a pretty intuitive crowd here. But it's the Welcoming Prayer by Thomas Keating. Are you all aware of that? Good. Good. I got something to work with here. All right. So we'll just keep the same, I think we'll keep the same music going. And I want you to take a look at this picture just for a moment. And I want to start just bringing us down a little bit. And I'd like for you to just be with that, just for a couple minutes. And imagine, if you had an invitation to be there, what it might feel like. Or maybe if you are there, waiting, what that could feel like. Looking out the window there, the star, or the anticipation of what's to come. Or wouldn't it be cool if we got the invitation that we could have 15 minutes alone with that baby? Wouldn't that be nice? But just let that scene penetrate. Just imagine how we begin to clear away the path within our own soul so that we can welcome the Christ child in the manger of our own heart this season. Now I imagine if I was going there, if I had an invitation, I'd probably want to be at my best. At least that's what I hope. I feel like I'd want my conscience to be clear, right? And I wouldn't want it to be about me. You know how people take selfies with celebrities? Look at me. It's all about me. Look who I'm with. I think this is very, very different in that it's really more about him than it is about us. So we're going to do this prayer of welcoming, to welcome in the Christ child and get out of our own way so that we can receive the gifts that he has to offer to us. And we're going to start by taking a deep breath again into the diaphragm and just closing your eyes and being with that picture in your mind. Watch your breath. Envision that in your heart. We will awaken to the presence of God. Welcome. 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 I welcome everything that comes to me today because I know it is for my healing. I welcome all thoughts, feelings, emotions, persons, situations, and conditions. I let go of my desire for power and control. I let go of my desire for affection, esteem, approval, and pleasure. I let go of my desire for survival and security. I let go of my desire to change any situation, condition, person, or myself. I open to the love and presence of God and God's actions within. Amen. And there's one other prayer that I wanted to share with you that's a meditation that we like to use during this season. It's a body prayer. Has anyone heard of the body prayer by the Julian of Norwich? Anyone? Okay. This is actually, has anyone heard of body prayer? Okay, so you're actively engaging the body and body prayer. It's kind of like walking meditation, right? That's a body prayer. These have movements involved with them that reminds us we meditate on each one of these movements as we do it and the meaning of it for us. So this is a 4-part body prayer I'm going to share with you. Again, it's in the packet, but I'm going to read these to you as we do them and we can practice them together. The first movement is await. So this is done, you can do this standing, you can do this sitting, but await is just cupping your hands and keeping them at your hip level. we take a posture of openness to God's presence, to reality as it presents itself, without expectation or judgment or fear. So this is a waiting. Now, this technique that we're learning right now can be used in any situation if you're making a big decision, or if you're in discernment, or if you're just reflecting on how awesome God is. So after we use this position here, await, I'm going to read that one more time. We're taking a posture to the openness of God's presence and to reality as it presents itself, without any expectation, judgment, or fear. And then we're going to allow, and you can do this with your eyes open or closed, but just put your hands in the air with your palms wide open in this allowing position, or this surrendered position. And in this position, we allow all to be what it is, and neither fight reality, nor do we try to force an experience of God's presence in any given moment. We're just allowing all to be what it is, and we're neither fighting reality nor trying to force an experience of God's presence in a given moment. And the next posture is to accept. And we'll put our hands crossed over our heart center, and we're accepting whatever it is that comes, knowing that grace is in there somewhere. And we resist the urge to manage, mother, or manipulate the world around us. We're in full acceptance of whatever it is that comes, knowing that grace is in it. We are not trying to manage or manipulate the world. We are resisting the urge to do that, and we're just accepting what is, whether we like it or we don't. And the last posture is to attend. So we stretch out our hands, ready to be responsive to whatever it is that's revealed to us in this practice. We open ourselves to God's call in our hearts, to the response to a given situation that the Holy Spirit places in us and calls us to make. So we'll remain in this posture for a moment. I'm just going to reread the 4 postures, and then we're going to do them together. We'll do them 5 different times. We'll do them silently. The first one is await. The second one is allow. Then accept and attend. I'll repeat them again. We await, we allow, we accept, and then we attend. So we'll do these quietly together. Await. Just take a couple of deep breaths there and be with that thought. We're awaiting. Listen for God's whisper. And hands in the air, we allow. Whatever God has for us, we just say yes. We're consenting to the love of God. Hands over heart. We're accepting reality just as it is in this moment. Not wishing to change a thing. And hands stretched out in front of us, we're attending to whatever it is God is calling us into. And in the next 3 practices, I will simply just say the word. Await. Allow. Accept. And attend. Await. Allow. Accept. And attend. We await. We allow. We accept. And we attend. Last time, we await. We allow. We accept. And Lord, we attend. Amen. And in our closing, I would love to share this meditation with you for our Advent season and say good night.
Lord Jesus, thank you for giving us the gift of yourself those many Christmases ago. As we enter this holy time, let us worship you in peace and gratitude. Let us put aside all the busyness, all the doing, and quiet our minds, bodies, and hearts. Tuning into your living presence, let us take a deep, centering breath in through our nose, exhaling through our mouths, and releasing all that distracts and hinders us from a fuller experience of you. Once again, let us rest in your presence as we inhale deeply. Now, exhaling, let us release anything we need to let go of, any distractions, pressures, and demands, any worries, fears, or burdens, and center ourselves more and more in you with every breath we take. Now, one last time, let us inhale, feeling our connection to you deepen and our awareness of you grow. And exhale, entering ever more deeply into our worship of you, focusing on you alone, the one we celebrate. You are the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, our shepherd, friend, and Savior. We welcome you into our world and into our lives. You are more than a baby lying in a manger. You are God among us, Emmanuel, bringing comfort, peace, and joy when we most need it. In the darkness of winter, when the lights are out and bleakness has set in, like a star shining brightly in the night sky, you come to give us hope, pointing to a truth that shines all the more brightly in the surrounding darkness. No longer are we alone, separate from you. Becoming incarnate, you make yourself real to us. Not a distant God, but a real, living God, in and among us. We are one under you, in you, and through you. Christ in me, Christ in you, Christ in all. You invite us to come together through you, connected in the wonder of your birth and the experience of welcoming you into our lives, into our hearts, into our being. Your message is clear. You have come to live in and among us, so we might be united with you and one another always. Let this Christmas message resonate with us anew, Lord Jesus, as we remember your birth all those Christmases ago. Let us celebrate your appearance among us and in us. A God who chose to make his home among us in the lowliest of places, who reconciled himself to us in this amazing act of love, connection, and self-sacrifice, who loved us enough to become one of us, making clear in his words and actions how much he values us, giving us peace and joy on earth every day and in the heavenly realms ever after. Truly, this is a message worth celebrating. Let us take a moment to adore you and your amazing